Good day. I am Matthew. I will be taking you through Session 2 of the Protection of Personal Information Act training. One of the key aspects of any privacy law, and POPIA in particular, is that it describes the conditions for lawful processing. In other words, the conditions that need to be met if you are to manage personal information correctly. Meeting these conditions is mandatory if the organization is seeking compliance to POPIA. In this session we will cover the first 2 of the 8 conditions, the first being accountability, and secondly, processing limitation. So let's get started. Firstly, let us take a quick look at accountability. The responsible party must ensure that the conditions and all the measures set out in the Act that give effect to such conditions are complied with at the time of determining the purpose and means of the processing. So there are some questions to ask. Who will be tasked with the responsibility of compliance in your organization? This individual will be held liable for non-compliance in certain situations. That person in Canon, South Africa is the compliance officer. How will this individual ensure the organization is POPIA compliant? There will be a number of policies and procedures that will be put in place. In a nutshell, Canon, South Africa has a compliance officer to assist in our joint efforts to keep personal data safe and secure. 2. Processing limitation. Personal information may only be processed in a fair and lawful manner and only with the consent of the data subject. Here too we have some questions to ask. Was the personal information obtained directly from the data subject? One of the requirements of the Act is that any personal information must be obtained directly from the data subject. Is the data subject aware that you have gathered his or her information and consented to the information being used? Consent from the data subject is essential before gathering or processing any personal information. If the personal information has been gathered from a third party, has the data subject consented to this information being shared and used by you? This is a requirement. Is the amount of information being gathered excessive? Only information that is required for the specific purpose for which it is gathered may be stored. You may collect more information than required for the intended purpose for future use if you obtain the necessary consent from the data subject. This is regarded as further processing in the Act. Thanks for listening to Session 2. Please complete the questions in the link below this video. And when you are ready, proceed to Session 3.